Japan, an island nation whose economy has gone from Stone Age beginnings to industrial titan. Through war, devastation, miraculous recovery, and modern challenges. In this video, we'll journey across millennia from the Jomon period's hunter-gatherers to the high-tech behemoth of today and explore the forces that shaped Japan's remarkable economic story. Japan's economic roots stretch back over 10,000 years to the Jomon period, when hunter-gatherers produced distinctive cord, marked pottery, and engaged in coastal foraging and rudimentary trade. But it was around 300 BCE, when the people arrived bringing wet rice agriculture from the continent, that things started to change. For the first time, surplus food enabled village communities to flourish and laid the groundwork for social stratification and long-term economic planning. In the 7th and 8th centuries, Japan adopted the Chinese-inspired Risuri, a centralized government with land and tax systems. Along with this, temples and shrines like Tadiji and Nara became not only religious centers but hubs of commerce, crafts, and cultural exchange. The Heian Court 7941-185 CE saw powerful nobles monopolize land. This era also witnessed the flourishing of luxurious crafts, fine silk lacquerware, which thrived on both domestic consumption and nascent long-distance trade. However, as real power shifted to warrior clans in Kamakura, 1185 to 1333, a feudal economy emerged. Land tenure in exchange for military service became the norm. Local lords controlled vast rice revenues, funding armies and infrastructure. Twice in the late 13th century, Mongol fleets assaulted Japan. Though repelled, these invasions spurred improvements in castle design, steel production, and coastal defense, thus accelerating military economic innovation. The Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, saw a revival of commerce. Japanese ports traded silver, swords, and ceramics with China and Korea, introducing new goods and a taste for international exchange. Even amid civil war, local castles became economic centers. Daimyo minted coins, fostered crafts, and developed road networks, demonstrating that conflict and commerce often march in tandem. In 1639, the Tokugawa shogunate sealed Japan's borders. This era of Sakoku, or closed country, lasted over 2 centuries, limiting foreign contact to a trickle via Nagasaki. Within this enforced isolation, Japan's internal economy boomed. Rice production soared, handicrafts specialized, and sumptuary laws created a vibrant market for textiles, ceramics, and luxuries. Edo swelled into the world's largest city, over 1 million people by the early 18th century. Meanwhile, Osaka earned the moniker the nation's kitchen, hosting rice exchanges and finance houses. Proto-banks known as Rakuchi, a literate population 80% by some estimates, laid the groundwork for modern industry. But Japan's economic trajectory was about to change dramatically. In 1853, Commodore Perry's black ships forced Japan's hand. The ensuing Meiji Restoration, 1868, toppled feudal rule, embracing Western technology and institutions. Stately modernization built railroads, telegraph lines, modern shipyards, and heavy industry. The government fostered Zaibatsu and Yasuda conglomerates, seeding private enterprise on a grand scale. By 1871, the new Meiji government had replaced the rice-based economy with a currency backed by gold and silver. By 1894, the yen was well established, facilitating trade and investment. Irrigation projects lifted yields, freeing labor for factories. Bolstered by victory in the Sino-Japanese 1894 and Russo-Japanese 1905 wars, Japan claimed influence across Asia and secured vital raw materials. By 1930, Japan rivaled Western powers industrially. Zaibatsu dominated shipping, steel, banking, and chemicals. However, global depression and resource scarcity fueled expansionist policies, culminating in World War II and near-total wartime devastation. Under Allied occupation 1945 to 1952, land reforms dismantled feudal estates. Labor unions emerged, and a democratic constitution took shape, setting the stage for recovery. Through export-oriented policies, keiretsu networks, and relentless innovation, Japan's GDP grew at an average 9% annually. Toyota's lean manufacturing, Sony's transistor radios, and Honda's motorcycles became global icons. But how did Japan manage to avoid the resource curse? First, it is important to note that Japan indeed faces a resource curse. It is highly dependent on energy imports and lacks many critical resources. However, it has managed to mitigate this challenge through several strategies. One key factor is Japan's robust technological innovation. Instead of relying on abundant natural resources, Japan has invested heavily in research and development, particularly in fields such as electronics and engineering. This focus on technology has enabled them to develop resource-efficient technologies, such as fuel-efficient vehicles and advanced manufacturing processes. They've also been at the forefront of developing renewable energy sources. For instance, Japan has made significant strides in nuclear power, although this has been somewhat curtailed after the Fukushima incident. Another crucial aspect is Japan's strategic planning and management. The government has implemented policies to diversify its energy sources and reduce dependency on any single supplier. Additionally, Japan has actively pursued diplomatic relationships to secure stable access to resources, often prioritizing partnerships over purely economic considerations. Furthermore, Japan's strong work ethic and emphasis on quality have played a vital role. Its skilled workforce and commitment to excellence have enabled Japan to produce high-quality goods that are in demand globally. This strong export sector has helped boost the economy and fund further technological advancements. Finally, Japan's unique culture and societal norms have contributed to its ability to navigate the resource curse. The emphasis on discipline, efficiency, and group harmony within Japanese society has fostered a business environment that values meticulous planning, quality control, and long-term perspectives. The 1980s brought speculation, sky-high real estate, and stock valuations. When the bubble burst in Japan plunged into a lost decade of stagnation, deflation, and banking crises. Trade frictions with the U.S. only deepened economic woe. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's monetary easing, fiscal stimulus, and structural reform, yet high public debt, over 250% of GDP, an aging population, and deflationary pressures remain persistent. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake, tsunami, and Fukushima disaster tested Japan's resilience. More recently, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted supply chains and tourism, but once again, Japan's firms and workers have adapted. Today, automotive giants, Toyota, Honda, electronics leaders, Sony, Panasonic, and robotics firms propel Japan forward. Creative exports, anime, manga, and video games win global fandom. Meanwhile, investments in AI, green energy, and biotech shape the next frontier. From prehistoric pottery to digital robots, Japan's economic journey is one of adaptation, discipline, and vision. Though challenges loom, the spirit of innovation and resilience keeps the land of the rising sun at the forefront of the world economy. And now let's move on to our question of the day. Is Japan's economy about to collapse? There is no simple answer to whether Japan's economy is about to collapse. There are various factors that need to be taken into account. On one hand, Japan has been grappling with economic stagnation for several years, with low growth rates and a ballooning national debt. Additionally, its population has been aging rapidly, leading to a shrinking workforce and increasing healthcare costs. Japan also faces geopolitical risks, including tensions with neighboring countries and the threat of natural disasters. These factors have raised concerns about Japan's long-term economic stability. On the other hand, Japan is still the third largest economy in the world by nominal GDP, and has a highly skilled and educated workforce. It is also a leader in many technological fields and has a strong export-oriented economy. Furthermore, Japan has taken steps to address its economic challenges, such as implementing monetary easing and fiscal stimulus measures. Ultimately, whether Japan's economy is about to collapse remains uncertain. While there are significant challenges, Japan also has strengths and has shown resilience in the past. Only time will tell how these factors will play out in the future. Some experts believe that Japan's economy will continue to struggle and that it may even face a financial crisis. Others argue that Japan has the fundamentals in place to continue growing and that its challenges are not insurmountable. It's important to remember that economic predictions are inherently uncertain, and that even the most sophisticated analysis can be wrong. Japan's economic future will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including global economic conditions, technological changes, and political developments. What do you think? Is Japan's economy about to collapse? Please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more informative content. Thank you for watching.